can do better than that. It just so happens that I was making this video before I even read this message. So here is all the best resources you need to teach yourself Sumerian. So for physical books, if you just want to dip your toes in, these are pretty good. There's lots of information in here. There's lots of exercises and transliteration along with the signs as well. It dives into the grammar and it's quite an easy read. But it is very beginner level. If you want something a bit more in depth, this is the only one that I have physically. All the others are PDF files. The information in here is rock solid, but I don't like the way it's laid out. It's all a bit too like squashed together, and it gets a bit too much and gives me a headache if I'm reading it. But he's a very well respected guy, and the information, as I say, is rock solid. The other books I have are digital PDFs, and these are the ones I consult the most. This one, A Descriptive Grammar of Sumerian by Abraham Yeagersma. Loads of information in this one, over 700 pages, can get quite advanced. And I consult this not just because the information is solid, but I like the way it's laid out. It's easy for my eyes, it doesn't give me a headache. But he breaks it down well. For instance, Gatakam here. It's nice and simple. The top line is just the transliteration, representing the signs, followed by morphological analysis right underneath it, followed by a gloss in English underneath that, and then finally the translation. He is mine. Another very good book that I consult frequently is written by Gabor Zoliomi, An Introduction to the Grammar of Sumerian. And what he does very well, in my opinion, is explain the nominal and verbal chains explicitly. He breaks down the verbal and nominal chains systematically, morphologically, in a system of slots and positions. Slots for the verbal chain and positions for the nominal chain, which I thought was great. Putting everything into little positions and boxes suits my way of learning. And like Yeagersma, he also has a 4-tier system of translation. Next, Daniel A. Foxfog, also a very good book, not quite as long as the last two books I just showed you, but the information is solid, it's a different layout than the last two, and it's not a crammed headache in any way. And the last book I'm going to recommend and show you is John L. Haynes. He takes a very different approach than everybody else. What I like about his books is he puts it all together like this. He'll have a photo of the tablet, and then he'll have the line art, and then he'll have the transliteration, the translation, and then he'll just kind of explain it as he goes, which is okay, and will certainly teach you loads if you're a beginner. But he only seems to deal with royal inscriptions, and grammatically, I think Zoliomi and Yeagersma are much better. Now, websites. These are very important too. The EPSD2, the Electronic Pennsylvanian Sumerian Dictionary. And when you click on it, this is the page you're going to see. And it's just a dictionary, a lexicon. So you can just type in at the top there in English, whatever words you want to find, and it will find it if it exists. There used to be an EPSD site, which was great for making flashcards. Annoyingly, it's not as great to make flashcards from this site, but you still can, and you're going to have to, really, because you need to understand the values of every sign, and you're going to need to know hundreds of them. Because there are over 1,000, and to get anywhere fluently, you're going to need to know a good few hundred of them. What do I mean by values? Well, this is read A, this is read Da. Okay then, the next useful website, the Cuneiform Digital Library Initiative, the CDLI. This site's great for looking at tablets like this. It's basically an online museum, and then seeing the corresponding transliteration in Sumerian. And then if you want to see the translation, annoyingly, you have to scroll down to composites, click on the composite link, and then it will take you here where you can see the transliteration and the translation directly underneath it. And this is a direct translation, unlike some museums and other websites. So yeah, very helpful to see the Sumerian and the English directly underneath it. Next, the ETCSL, the Electronic Text Corpus of Sumerian Literature. This is the homepage. If you explore a bit, I believe it teaches you about the grammar too, at least a little bit. But on this site, this is where you can find all the epics, read the epics in English or Sumerian, and all of the proverbs, like the famous joke, the dog walks into a bar joke, with the corresponding Sumerian. And lastly, the ETCSRI, the Electronic Text Corpus of Sumerian Royal Inscriptions. This is where you can surf and browse all the royal inscriptions. This has the transliteration and a translation, but the translation is not direct here, so don't make that mistake. Because that can be embarrassing. There was a guy on a Mesopotamian Facebook page who was masquerading as an expert. He had an expert badge and everything, but he was anything but. That badge they gave him, he let that go to his head. What he did, he would copy and paste the translation over here, not realizing it's not a direct translation. Yeah, one day he posted an artifact and he gave the Sumerian transliteration, but he didn't put the translation. And I, being a stickler, I have to give a direct translation. So I gave a direct translation and he tried to correct me, thinking that each line over here corresponds to each line over here, and it doesn't. It's not that this is a incorrect translation, it's just that the two systems, English and Sumerian, are so wildly grammatically different that direct translations aren't grammatically correct in English. So what they do on the ETCSL and the ETCSRI is they rearrange it to make it more grammatically correct for English, but it doesn't correspond line by line. And he didn't realize this, and he doubled down. He ended up obviously sending some stuff from Jägersma, which he clearly didn't understand. Anyway, I'm going off on a ramble, and basically he just made himself look really foolish and ended up blocking me. But anyway, if you want to teach yourself Sumerian, everything I've showed you in this video would be a great start.